There is no method to the madness. For friends of mine who are Trump apologists, they have always acknowledged that Trump, the man, is undisciplined at best and even arguably immoral at worst. But in rationalizing their vote for such a man, they always default to the argument that he's a disruptor that shakes up a system that needs it. Here's the problem with that. Disruption is one thing. Madness is something entirely different. Donald Trump, the candidate, kept telling us how easy it would all be to erase inflation and slash prices at the grocery store.
Starting on day one, we will defeat inflation quickly and we will make America affordable again. We're getting your prices way down.
Okay, so the Donald, he decided to outsource the job to Elon Musk. You remember him, the unelected, non-confirmed gazillionaire with no government experience, but tons of government contracts, to take a chainsaw to the federal government. This has been an unmitigated disaster. So much so that after an insurrection from Trump's own cabinet, he told Musk yesterday that the agency heads will actually be making the personal decisions from now going forward. As just one example, the understaffed Veterans Administration, which cares for the men and women who actually served our nation, they plan to cut roughly 80,000 jobs. And no one can explain how this will not severely impact quality of care. In case after case, the administration has lost injunction after injunction because they are neither following the law and apparently cannot even submit a coherent legal draft. Now, this isn't just embarrassing ineptitude for a city council. This amateur hour for our federal government is having huge consequences for people, young and old, in red and blue states. But it gets much worse. Trump, who told the world how much he loves tariffs, apparently never understood what their cause and effect would be, despite every reputable economist on the right and left warning of the inevitable cascading disasters that would impact industry after industry in America. The Donald apparently believed that the pain would only be felt by our neighbors to the north and south. Cue the panic from the auto manufacturers in the U.S., our retailers, American farmers, and so many others. Cue the panic in the financial markets where stock prices have plunged this week. Cue the cliff dive in consumer confidence and a jobs report coming out today that can be charitably described as god-awful. The one thing a healthy economy requires is stability. The one thing Trump can ensure is volatility. Who would hire in this climate or expand an industry when you don't know what happens tomorrow? 24 hours after talking tough, Trump capitulated and said, never mind when it came to auto tariffs, for at least a month. What does that mean? Who's coming? Who's going here? Now, if you know the answer to that, you're the only one. And that is what is most petrifying. There is no plan. There's no ideology. There's no commitment. Just knee-jerk spasming according to the whims of a guy jacked up on too much Diet Coke. But again, this will get worse. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office found to get anywhere near an area code of Trump's promise of a balanced budget and to fund his massive tax cuts going to the wealthiest 1%, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, not one of the three, all of them, will most certainly be on the chopping block. Now, this says nothing of the grotesque attacks on the rule of law, the politicization of the Justice Department, the attacks on a free press, the abandonment of our allies, and the embrace of our enemies, and so on and so on. When it simply comes down to dollars and cents, Trump has confirmed in just 6 weeks that he is a reality show businessman who's great at delivering drama but doesn't have a clue about running a functioning business, let alone a nation. As I often say, Lord help us.